Today we are going to discuss about speciation in evolution. Speciation. So from one species, one or more different species arises. That is called speciation. A. Emerson defines species as genetically distinctive, reproductively isolated natural population. Genetically they are different. The species are genetically different and reproductively they are isolating. The human beings reproduce with the human beings and the cow reproduce with the cow only. So like that they are isolating reproductively in natural population. So this was given by A. Emerson. So speciation, it is an important process in evolution. So evolution of a new species from a single lineage. So think this is a species of a single lineage. So from this the same species is arised. So from this, that is a new species arises from a single lineage, single lineage of the species, that is called abioge, that is agenesis. So from a single lineage, new species arise means it is called agenesis or phyletic speciation. So another thing, this is one species. From this, one or more than 2 or 3 species arises, then it is called cladogenesis or divergent evolution. So this two they may ask in your 2 marks. Sympatric speciation or reproductive isolation. This they can ask in your 5 mark. So it is a mode of speciation through which new species form from a single ancestral species, which both species continue to inhabit the same geographical area. So the species, a new species, is formed from a single ancestral species. But the ancestral species and the new species live in the same area, that is same geographical area, that is called sympatric. So a new species arises from an ancestral species. Both the new and ancestral species live in the same geographical area. That is known as sympatric speciation or reproductive isolation. 2 or more species can be involved in this process. New species formed due to genetic modification in the ancestor, that is naturally selected, can no longer breed with the parental population. That is, the new species have been formed. How it formed? Due to any change in the genetic makeup. So due to this, the new species cannot interbreed with the parent population. So sexual isolation is strongest. So in this case, the sexual isolation is stronger. That is, sexually they are separated. The phenotypic plasticity has emerged as potentially important first step in speciation, initiated within an isolated population. So the phenotypic plasticity is important to isolate the population. So what is that is phenotypic plasticity? Ability of a single genotype to produce more than 1 or 2 phenotypes, then it is called phenotype plasticity. So the plasticity is expressed in seasonally they are expressed in the planktons. So that is called cyclomorphosis. So phenotypic plasticity means from a single genotype it can able to produce more than 1 phenotype. That is called phenotype plasticity. If they ask in 2 marks, you have to write till here. So during that process, that is during this plasticity, they have expressed the seasonal. So that is when this plasticity is expressed seasonally in plankton. So where they have been expressed this from a single genotype, more than 1 phenotype can be expressed. That was seen in the seasonally in planktons, and this process is referred as cyclomorphosis. Okay, this they can ask in your 1 mark or 2 mark. That is 3 mark. Allopatric speciation or geographical speciation. If it is a mode of speciation that occurs when biological population of similar species become isolated from each other, that prevents the gene flow. So the allopatric speciation can prevent gene flow. How? The biological population of the similar species, that is the biological population based on, that is biological population of similar species is separated from each other. So they are got separated during that biological population. So based on the biological, so how we have divided the monkey, that is monkey to apes, apes to, that is nomads, nomads to neanderthal, neanderthal to homo sapiens. So we got divided, no. So like that we are got divided, and due to that the gene flow was arrested also. So the gene flow is prevent in this allopatric. So one species becomes two species due to geographical barriers. Hence the new species is evolved. So one species, that is one species becomes two species due to geographical barrier, and the new species evolved. That is called Darwin finches. So in Darwin finches, they are all birds only, but based on their food, their beaks are modified. But they are all living in the same area. So now you got it. What is allopatric speciation? Now you had to understand and think so. So the barriers are land separation, migration or mountain formation. So when the barriers occurs between the species, change in the ecological condition and environment leads to the adaptation that produce differences. So the barriers may be change in the ecological conditions and the environmental. This leads to the adaptation. And due to that adaptation, they produces the difference. Okay. If there is no adaptation, so if any organism may not able to adapt, that organism cannot survive. If the organism can adapt, that particular organism will survive. So sexual isolation is weakest, but in sympatric, sexual isolation is the strongest one. But here the sexual isolation is weakest. A well example is the adaptation of apple maggots that feed on apples in North America. So when apple trees are imported to North America, the apple maggot flies, that is Rhodolytis pomonella, okay, Rhodolytis pomonella. So it is a parasitic insect. It lays eggs on the fruits of wild hawthorns until one set of population began to lay its egg in the fruit of domesticated apple tree, Malleus domestica, that grew in the same area. So one type, that is apple, the apple tree was imported to North America. There are apple maggot flies, that is Rhodolytis pomonella. So it is a parasitic insect. It lays eggs, that is it lays eggs on the fruit of wild hawthorns. Okay, wild hawthorns. When a particular group, that is the group of this flies, okay, that is they move and they began to lay eggs in the domesticated apple fruit. So in the same area only. So some may lay eggs on the wild hawthorns, and some they move because of overpopulation, anything happens that time. Okay, so they move on to the apple trees, fruits. So the small group of apple maggot flies selected a different host species from the rest of the population, and its offspring become accustomed to domesticate the apples. So the small, that is in apple maggot fly, the small group move on to the different host species. Instead of wild hawthorns, they use the apple tree. Okay, so this type, this is got accustomed to domesticated apples. So it is its offspring becomes the accustomed. They are the customers. That is customers without using. That is without calling. They are coming to lay the eggs. No. So that has been happened due to the allopatric speciation. Hope you understand the topic. If you want to watch the video in Tamil, I had given the link in the description box. If you like the video, give a thumbs up, share and subscribe to Science Easy Tech channel.